The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to today's system training webinar with your host, Craig Proctor.
Well, thank you very much, Andrea. I want to welcome all of our brand new coaching members to session number 2. And today, we're going to be talking about how to select your target market and your unique selling proposition. So what we're going to talk about today is all the unique selling propositions that are available to you on the Craig Proctor System and Coaching website. We'll help you pick a unique selling proposition today that would apply to you so you can start generating leads. And most importantly, we're going to talk to you about how to select your target market. You know, who is it that you'd really want to attract, or maybe better yet, who is it that you should be working with right now? It'd be great if you absolutely loved your target market, but if you need to make some now money, you may have to work a target market that you're not crazy about to get things going. Just being honest. But that's the important thing, is we want everyone to start making money as soon as possible. So this is a live webinar. What that means is you can type your questions into the chat, and we'll take some audio questions if we have time a little later on in the webinar. We have our wonderful operator, Andrea, standing by. Say hi to everybody, Andrea.
Hi, everybody. Very
well, you did that. So Andrea will be watching. She'll be watching the chat questions, and every once in a while, Andrea will take some questions. So let's get started. We'll hit that start button right now. At the Super Conference, if you remember, I talked about my triple M formula. You probably want to write this down anyway, even though you've heard me say it. But it's vitally important. You really can't be successful as a marketer if you don't understand the triple M formula. In other words, if any one of these 3 ingredients in the triple M formula are not working, the campaign's not going to work. Now, most real estate agents make the mistake of immediately wanting to talk about the message. Okay, the message, we refer to that as the ad. That's what agents come to me. They say, give me the ads, give me the ads. But it seems to me that before you could decide on what the message should be, you should really, spend some time thinking about who you should be talking to with your marketing message and who you should not be talking to. And that's exactly what we're going to get into today. We call that your target market. And what you'll find when you do the research, as we'll go through here today, is some target markets will be much better for you than others. So it makes sense, right? Like, let's do a bit of research. Let's leverage our brains here first. This program's not about grunt prospecting, cold calling, nose to the grindstone. We want to make a lot of money and do it in a very smart way. So we're going to talk about how to be smart, how to use smart, effective marketing. And then finally, number 3 is your medium. Okay, that is the method of delivering your message to your intended marketplace. So we'll talk about different mediums today. So, really breaks down really today to online marketing and offline. Okay, so online would be Facebook, Google pay-per-click, Craigslist, banner ads, and then offline is everything else. So print advertising, it could be signage, which would incorporate billboards and bus benches, things like that, advertising on the back of the bus, shopping carts, outdoor advertising, radio, television, etc. So we're going to talk about who it is you want to work with and what it is that these people want, and then most importantly, how are we going to give your prospects, your target market, what they want in a unique way so they know who you are, but more than just creating an awareness, they understand exactly what makes you different and better than all the other choices. And if you read the words on the screen here, it says most agents are pretty vague in their response. And you notice that when I read the pre-super conference surveys that were handed in, I read some of the remarks under the question of why should a buyer or seller use you, and the remarks were pretty general, right? Everybody's saying the same thing. You know, I'm great, I have integrity, I work hard, I'm honest, I've got experience. So you're not really targeting anyone. The problem with this strategy is when you try to be everything to everybody, you really fail to address the specific needs of anybody. So you end up being nothing to anybody. So you have to have a marketing strategy. That's what we're going to talk about today. This marketing strategy, these decisions, will be based on logic and science. You're not going to be throwing a dart at the wall. You won't be guessing. And many of you have sort of got by in your real estate career so far by making guesses. Quite often those guesses are incorrect. If we take a look at how McDonald's opens a restaurant, they don't, you know, just decide to throw a dart at the wall. They do a lot of research on that neighborhood, on that intersection. They look at the competitors. They look at the population. They look at the income level of the people that live there. And they do all this research before they decide where they're going to plunk a brand new restaurant. So we're going to do that too. And we're going to do that by using the reality program. Okay, now you've been given access as a Craig Proctor system and coaching member. Some of you are set up. I understand not all of you are set up yet. Some of your MLSs won't cooperate with reality. Most of them will. Not much we can do about that if they won't cooperate, but 99% of the MLSs we can get in with reality and interface there and get you the information. So I'll take you on to the reality program a little later on our webinar and show you how to do this, show you how to do research. Now, I'm set up for Toronto. Obviously, I can't be set up for every different marketplace, but I'll show you how it works. And yours, of course, this is important. Your reality program will be set up for your marketplace. I had a lady at the conference say, well, what good would this be, Craig? I don't live in Toronto. So I want everyone to understand, no, yours will be set up for you in your marketplace. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is let's look at your own personal situation, including your resources, okay, your experience in the business, and let's make some good decisions. Most of you want to do more advertising than the finances available to you. So that's a good thing in a way. There's nothing like having a shortage of cash to help you become really super efficient. And you guys heard my story. I was pretty broke when I got in this business, like a lot of us are. So we have to shrink our target market in relationship to the resources that we have. Okay, in other words, if you've got $1,000 to your name, you don't want to spend it all in one ad and you strike out and that's it, you're out of the game. So we're going to start, makes sense, right, with the least expensive methods of generating leads, and then we'll ramp it up from there. That makes sense, right? We're not going to start with the most expensive things. Hey, let's start with the most expensive things. No, we're going to start with the least expensive lead generators and work our way up. Now, just because a lead generator is expensive, the ad costs a lot of money, doesn't mean it's a bad idea. Let me give you an example. Let's say there were two ads that you could run. One of them was on, I don't know, Facebook, and your budget was $20 for a day, and you generated some leads, but you made nothing. The other ad cost you $500, but every time you run that other ad, you made a $30,000 commission check. What was the better investment? Okay, but I get it. If you don't have the $500, you start with the least expensive things first. I talked about this at the Super Conference. Do not let your target market select you. That's what I did. You heard my story. Okay, I just happened to be at an open house, and this Japanese couple walks in, and they want to list their home, and this is my lucky break because they don't know that I don't know what I'm doing. I'm new, and I don't know whether they've sold a house or not, but not in this country. So anyway, I got lucky, and that became my target market. Okay, but you can't rely on luck. Okay, it ended up working out okay for me, but it could have been a crummy target market. We don't want to rely on luck. So I want you to think right now about who it is that you would like to target, what is it that they really want, and then finally, how are we going to give them what they want in a unique way? Okay, and that's your unique selling proposition. most real estate agents can't really answer the question of who they want to target. So that's not a strategy. Okay, that's what's missing in most, I've worked with 30,000 agents now. That's what's really missing for most realtors I begin working with is they don't have any strategy. They just get up and start running hard every day, but they really don't have any strategy. Now, I'm going to make this recommendation for those of you that are starving for cash. You want to make money like right away. You like to have food with your meals. You should target first-time buyers. And here's my argument as to why, if you need to make money right away, why you want to target first-time buyers. First-time buyers obviously don't have a house to sell, and they probably rent some dingy apartment. And what I found is when I take a first-time buyer out, pretty much every house I show them is better than that apartment they rent. I show them 5 homes, they would buy all 5 of them. So they're easy to satisfy, and because they don't have a house to sell, they're usually in a month-to-month rent, I can find them a home quickly and close that transaction and get paid in 30 days or 60 days at the most. I like that. When I needed now money, I drilled down and I worked with first-time buyers. So we have ads to help you make money right away by targeting first-time buyers. Now, some of you might say, well, I don't want to work with first-time buyers. Look, I said a few minutes ago, at the beginning, if you're kind of starving for cash, you might have to work with a segment of the marketplace that you're not crazy about for now. Okay, let's bring some money in, and then you can do other things. But the fastest way that I know of for any of you to make money like quickly is to target first-time buyers. Okay, then since you have no money, right? A lot of you, some of you don't have lots of it. Some of you are challenged. So we'll talk to you first. Start with the least expensive mediums. Okay, Facebook, Google, pay-per-click, and don't forget about local newspapers. Okay, I sort of lectured you guys at the conference. I talked about how many real estate agents believe that nobody reads the newspaper and print advertising would be a total waste of time, and it's just not true. Okay, I'm going to show you some of my print ads. Remember, most real estate agents believe perhaps what you believe, that nobody reads print advertising, so therefore they don't advertise. Now, is it true that there's still a lot of people that read the paper? Yep, I still do. I don't consider myself an old man. I still read the paper, but I'm online too, right? I use Google, I use Facebook, I use it all. So we want to have a layered approach. Okay, so you're going to start with inexpensive ads. Facebook, 15, maybe 20 bucks a day. Google, you can find a small budget there. A lot of local papers are starved for advertisers right now. You can negotiate a good deal. So here's a first-time buyer ad. Why rent when you can own? Free list with pictures of homes available with no money down. It says under $1,300 a month. Now, that just isn't an arbitrary figure. $1,300 a month is the average rent in my marketplace. So what I want you to do in that ad is insert the average rent, for the average home in your area. So what happens is somebody that's renting, and by the way, you can run this under homes for sale, but you can also run this ad under homes for rent. So imagine a couple that's renting a house, and they're looking under homes for rent or even homes for sale, and they happen upon this ad. It says first-time buyers, why rent when you can own? Free list with pictures of homes you can available with no money down, under $1,300 a month. You know what they're thinking? Well, this is pretty good because I qualify. I have no money, and I'm already paying $1,300 a month in rent. Why am I renting? Why don't I buy? And they respond. Now, can we help all of these buyers buy? Nope. But here's the opportunity. Do you realize within a 5-mile radius of your office, there's a ton of first-time buyers that are only renting? Okay, these people are renting only because they don't believe they can qualify for a home. And many of them can. Not all of them can, but that's the opportunity. We're looking for renters that are only renting because they don't believe they can afford to buy a home. And that's our job, is to find those buyers, get them to raise their hands, get them qualified, and help them find a home. And as I mentioned, they're easy to please. Pretty much everything you show them will be better than where they currently live. So here's a bunch of ads right off the ad generator. We'll go to the ad generator later in the webinar. I'll take you to system and coaching site, and I'll show everybody how to navigate through the site, our site, and look at the different campaigns that you can choose from. Okay, but there's a few of them that would be great campaigns to target first-time buyers. Fixer-uppers, bargains, lowest prices, these homes need work. Distress sales, you could even insert a price range. Distress sales, free list of bank foreclosure properties between, and you pick the price, $300,000 and $400,000. Or must sell, fixer-uppers, bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, distress sales. Really, that's just the must sell ad, if you notice, is just a combination of the fixer-upper ad and the distress sale. They both worked well, so I figured, well, I'll just combine them into one. And for those of you that are not starved for cash, you still may want to target first-time buyers, because who doesn't like quick, easy, fast money? But if you've been in the business and you've got some credibility and you've got some money behind you, you may want to target sellers and move-up buyers. Now, the great thing about this campaign is everybody that responds is going to be a buyer, but they're also going to have a house to sell. And you're going to insert, okay, right here, the name of your luxury area. So it might say Glenaway Estates upscale luxury homes, or Stonehaven Estate luxury homes. And then, of course, you're going to customize your price range, and then you're going to register your own domain name. So it makes sense. So you've got a good domain name. You'll know you've got a good one when a prospect could just read the domain name and pretty much understand what they're going to find when they get there. And of course, here's a print ad. It's a 2-column ad, one of my best campaigns. It didn't generate a ton of leads, but I'll tell you the quality of the leads were very good. Okay, find out what your home is worth online. Again, you can make that specific. There is value in making things specific, as long as you're not making it so specific that you narrow the funnel. Let me give you an example of that. I might want to say, find out what your new market home is worth online. I might not want to say, find out what your Stonehaven home is worth online, because that's a very small area. So the good news for all of you is you're now system members. That means you've got access to all of the different campaigns. And you should now understand what message you should be running and how to deliver those messages. And again, I'm going to remind everybody, type the questions in, because this is a live webinar and we will take questions both by chat and by audio as we progress. So yeah, some of you say, well, Craig, you've been talking so far about real estate agents that are starved for cash and they need to make money right away. Well, what about me? I'm doing great. I'm making pretty good money now, but I want to make a lot more money. Well, you saw all the realtors on stage at the super conference. We certainly know how to make people who are doing well, help them do much, much better. So you probably want to target some sellers. Here's a couple of good ads, good campaigns. We looked at the one on the left, find out what your home is worth online. I really like this one as well. Home sellers, find out what the home down the street sold for. Free computerized list with pictures of area home sales and current listings. We call this the area home sales report. Then those editorial ads. I know we're talking about print. I'm going to take you, don't worry, I'll take you online here and show you some Facebook ads. But just bear with me, because I really like print because it works. I'm going to share with you guys at some point a survey that the post office did, and it's about print. So you'll say, well, they're biased, right, because it's the post office. But still, I want to, at some point here, read you some stats. What they find is a prospect that responds to print advertising is actually, on average, a better quality lead. They're easier to convert. So here's some editorial ads for buyers. How to avoid 9 common buyer traps before you buy a home. 3 ways to buy a home for less money. Avoid 6 costly errors when moving to a larger home and save thousands. And then we've got a bunch of editorial ads for sellers. Okay, but again, I'll take you to the ad generator here shortly and show you how to navigate through that. And that's what it looks like in the newspaper. It should look like news from the newspaper. It should look like an article, not an ad from a real estate agent. Okay, so that's the goal right here. So you take an honest look at your situation, your finances, and then you research the multiple listing service. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to go to the reality program here and remind everybody how to do this. But your MLS, if you pay attention, it will tell you where the opportunity is. Okay, you want to look at what is selling. You want to look at who's buying those homes. And of course, testing is very important. And because we're using direct response marketing, where we're driving all the buyers and sellers to either a landing page with a unique domain name or a recorded hotline, usually both, and the recorded hotline is going to offer the prospect a very specific 4-digit ID number that allows you to track. And when you can track, you can test. So what kind of things are you going to test? Well, you're going to test the different ads. You're going to test the different methods of delivering that message to the marketplace, Facebook, Google, etc. And you're going to test different target markets rather. All right, so what do your prospects want? Okay, we're going to have to think about what is it that they really, really want. So for example, if my marketing campaign to sellers was, I will take a long time to sell your home and sell it for less money, that wouldn't be a very effective campaign because that's not what sellers want. We talked at the conference, the number one thing that sellers want is buyers. So we're going to be talking to sellers about our buyer in waiting program, okay, our buyers in waiting program, and talk about how many buyers we have in our database, and we're going to leverage off those buyers to get the listings. I mentioned a few minutes ago the importance of being specific. Okay, you want to be specific, but not too specific. So if we were in a crowd of people and I said, hey, John, and your name's John, you're going to pay attention to that. So it's always good to be specific in your ad, as we mentioned a minute ago, saying, Glenaway Estates luxury homes or Stonehaven luxury homes works better than just saying luxury homes if you're delivering that message to that particular market. Now, this is vitally important. Okay, this is the next thing we're going to get into is once I know who I should be talking to, okay, the who, the target market, what should my message be? And I reminded everybody at the super conference that this is the most important question that anyone is ever going to ask you about your real estate business as long as you're doing this. Why should I choose to do business with you versus all other options? And if you remember at the conference, I said sellers have options, right? So do buyers. The seller could choose to sell their own home. They could choose to, not sell at all. Or they could choose you or anyone you compete with, and buyers have similar options. They could go out there and look on their own. They could decide not to buy, or they could choose you or anyone you compete with. So I go through all the surveys at the conference, and we kind of had some fun with that, and I read the answers to this question. Why should a buyer or seller choose to do business with you versus all other options? Very few of you had a spectacular answer to that question. So today I want to help all of you have a spectacular answer to that question. Now, take what works, for example, in your one-on-one communications and broadcast it to the masses. So I'm sure when you're in front of a prospect every once in a while, you say something that's brilliant and it works. Well, that's the idea. Your USP is going to tell your prospects clearly, what makes you different and better. And there's 3 different types of unique selling propositions. Okay, 3 different types. And then when I take you to the system website here, I'll show you ads for the 3 types. But just as a refresher, we've got unique service USPs. So I'm going to show you how to provide your buyers and sellers with unique services that other agents aren't offering. I'm going to show you how to guarantee your performance in a way that the other agents aren't guaranteeing their performance. So you're setting yourself apart by being accountable. And then I'm going to show you, now that you've got better quality buyers and sellers and you're working with the best of the best, how to leverage off your statistics, because eventually they will be much better than the real estate board average. You might want to write this down. The MLS averages are pathetic. Okay, the MLS averages are pathetic. Days in the market, list to sales ratio, success ratio. So it's going to be pretty easy for us to beat, to be superior to those averages. So here's a few good questions that you want to ask yourself. You might want to write some of these down. What is it that distinguishes your business from your competitors? Do your homes sell faster for more money? Do your buyers save money or time? Am I more expensive or less expensive? Do I have a better system to attract customers? Okay, am I more aggressive in my marketing programs and strategies? Do I render more service, give a better value, give a better guarantee? You know, what exactly makes me different and better than my competitors? These are the ads that we see typically. Right down here, this is what realtors do when it comes to promoting themselves. This is why they call it you know, image advertising or self-image advertising. Okay, self-image advertising, where the real estate agent paying for the ad is talking about how great they are. So everybody does that, right? We're number one, we give the best service, we have the lowest prices, we're the biggest and the best, and so on and so on. But doing what everybody else does not set you apart. By the way, this whole idea of less branded is the least expensive way that I know of to generate a lot of leads. So you are going to brand yourself, right? When you promote your unique selling proposition, you're not trying to hide the fact that it's coming from you, the RE/MAX or Keller Williams agent or Century 21 agent. You're promoting, there's a time and a place for you to promote yourself and your unique selling propositions. But you will generate a lot more leads with a less branded approach. Let me say it this way. There are people that know you and love you in your marketplace, right? And when it comes time to sell, hopefully they'll call you. But I think we can all agree there's more people in your marketplace that not only don't want to talk to you, they don't want to talk to any real estate agent. They just want to gather information. So that's where the big opportunity is. Flying underneath the consumer's advertising radar. So from this point forward, the name of the game here is I'm going to help you stop wasting money on ineffective advertising. Okay, this program will pay for itself for most of you just by getting you to stop wasting money on stuff that you're already doing. Okay, so we'll talk about this USP. Again, here's the 3 steps. Determine what your customers want. Find out which of these needs you can fulfill. I think at the super conference I said, really with a performance guarantee, the idea here is make the biggest promise that you can both make and keep. You know, in other words, don't have a guarantee that says, I guarantee to sell your home in 7 days, or I'll pay you $1,000 cash if you know it's going to take you 30 days. You're setting yourself up for failure. Okay, make the biggest promise you can both make and keep. And then we're going to help you find a real clear way to state and promote this guarantee to customers. So when they think of real estate, they immediately think of you, and they wouldn't dream of using an ordinary real estate agent. That's the idea. Okay, you're pre-sold on the strength of your marketing. So here's a couple examples of unique service USPs. These are unique services that I would offer my clients. I talked about both of these at the conference. Sunday Tour of Homes was a unique service that I offered sellers, right? I said, I'm not going to do a traditional open house where I kick you out of the house for 4 hours. We're going to do a tour where your home will be open for 10 minutes, and that's it. And then on purpose, you know, we're trying to drive all the buyers to the seller's home at exactly the same time, creating competition. So it's a service for sellers, but it's also a service for buyers, because I had 12 homes on the tour open every Sunday. It was an organized way for buyers every Sunday to see 12 houses. Nobody else was doing that. So that was a unique service. the buyers in waiting program is both a unique service for sellers and buyers. So if I was trying to list your home, well, you heard what I said at the conference, right? I understand you've interviewed a couple of other realtors. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it's almost like I've been looking for a buyer for your home before you and I even met today. In fact, I currently have 324 buyers that are looking in this price range I'm sending information to. Should you decide to list your home with me, the very first thing that I would do is I'd send information on your property out to all these buyers. Sometimes we get a buyer right away. Sometimes we get multiple offers. Did the other realtors you meet with talk to you about how many buyers they are currently working with? Pause. Okay, so we'll show you how to use all this. This is an important point. Okay, please write this one down because this is a biggie. Okay, you have to understand this. What you sell, okay, in this business, houses, will never set you apart. Okay, what you sell will never set you apart from the other agents. That's not the opportunity. Why? Because we all sell the same stuff, right? We all sell the same houses. Whatever house you have for sale, I can sell it. And so can all the other agents. So that's not the opportunity. Here's the opportunity. It's how you do what you do. That's the only way in real estate to set yourself apart. Okay, so that's the opportunity. That's what we're going to work on. Not the product. It's not the product, houses, because everybody sells houses in real estate. The opportunity is not what you sell, it's how you sell it. That's the opportunity. How you do what you do. And this is kind of a favorite, so I threw it in there. The more you tell, the more you sell. It's so true. Okay, the more you tell the prospect about how you can help them, the more real estate you're going to sell. Okay, then we move on to performance guarantees. These are the guarantees that sort of scared the bejeebers out of some of you. So, the guaranteed sale program, we'll save that for a minute. Let's start with something that all of you could do. Most of you are in hot markets right now, so why couldn't you do this? Your home sold for 100% of the asking price, guaranteed, I'll pay the difference. What's the condition? Well, the seller has to list their home at your recommended price. Well, what happens if you're in a real hot market and the seller lists their home at your recommended price? It would sell for at or above the asking price every single time. Now, you're going to build a buffer. One of the other condition would be if you couldn't sell it for 100%, there's going to be a maximum that you're going to contribute. That might be 1% of your commission. Okay, so what's the worst thing that can happen? I don't know. You make 2% or 2.5% instead of 3 or 3.5% from a total stranger that never would have called you had you not run the campaign. It's only upside. And then, of course, the guaranteed sale program. You know what? We're not even going to talk about this today because let me start you with some other easier things for you to do. We will show you how to do this. You'll be able to talk to gazillions of our members that are successfully making a lot of money with the guaranteed sale program. It is the ultimate guarantee, right? If I don't sell your home, I'll buy it. There's a lot of conditions built in so you and I are protected. And then finally, we've got statistical USPs. And so I don't know if this is big enough for you folks to see, but you can see this is Jim Buttrell. He's the Marine in San Diego, and he's using statistics on all of his marketing. And in fact, he's combining the USPs that we talked about. So he's got a performance guarantee here. Your home sold, I don't know if you can read it. It says your home sold for at least 100% of your asking price, you'll pay the difference. It says 3 important details for you to consider. And then here's the big reasons to call Jim Buttrell. We sell more homes, we sell them for more money, and we'll get your home sold faster. And then here's his exclusive buyers in waiting program. And he actually takes a screenshot of all the buyers he's currently working with. So he's got a unique service. Can everyone see that? The buyers in waiting program. A unique service USP. He's got a performance guarantee, and he's using statistics. Great marketing piece. He's encompassed all 3 USP platforms. Good job for Jim. Now, another thing I want to talk to you about is testimonials. Hopefully all of you have like at least one customer that likes you, that'll give you a testimonial. And some of you actually have testimonials, but they're what I call wimpy testimonials. So a wimpy testimonial would be, you know, I really like Craig, he did a great job. Okay, that's not really anything special because lots of real estate agents have testimonials like that. We want our testimonials to reinforce, wherever possible, our unique selling propositions. Okay, we want them to say something specific. So here's a couple examples. After 5 months of being listed with another agent, Craig's team sold our home in 26 days for 98% of the asking price. Or how about this one? When I'm promoting my guaranteed sale program, I'm going to include this testimonial. Craig actually bought someone else's house so they could buy ours. Could you imagine if you lived in my market and you see my advertising, you're a consumer, and it says your home sold or I'll buy it? You're skeptical, right? So I back it up with a whole bunch of prospects that have benefited from the program. Now, that doesn't mean I bought this guy's house. Understand, it just means I gave them a guarantee so they can move up and buy another one of my listings. And of course, in a couple of days, their home sold. I didn't buy it. It sold to an outside buyer. But I can still get a testimonial saying because of my guarantee to buy their home, they were able to buy the home of their dreams. So we'll take questions here in a minute. How you doing, Andrea?
I'm great.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's been an awesome webinar so far.
Well, thank you. I do pay Andrea to say those things. So we will now go online. So Andrea, you can get ready for the questions. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the reality program. We're going to log in. Now, keep in mind, this is set up for Toronto. Okay, yours will be set up for your marketplace. So let's say that I'm brand new in real estate and I'm in the Toronto area, and I'm part of the Craig Proctor coaching program, and I'm listening to Craig talk about, well, you should be smart and not just throw a dart at the wall. You should do a little bit of research before you decide where you're going to hang your hat, who your target's going to be. So all I have to do is I go by city, and this will break down all the cities within the Greater Toronto area. If you're from Toronto, we call it the GTA, the Greater Toronto area. So here they are in alphabetical order. So this tells me the number of homes that have sold in the last 12 months, the total volume of real estate, average days in the market, and there's a big variation. Look at Blue Mountain, 165 days, and then you've got Ajax, 12.5 days. Well, that's one of the things I'm going to consider is I like 12.5 days better than 165. The other thing I'm going to look at is, well, you know, I'd rather sell less houses and make more money, so I could, you know, choose to work in a target market like Caledon, where the price is $727. That's the average sales price. But if I work over here, it's less than half that. Does that make sense? So I'd have to sell twice as many homes in this marketplace. Okay, I'm also going to look at the list to sales ratio. And this is the percentage of, this is the number of homes, rather, that have sold for 100% of the asking price. So Aurora is one of the cities I work. This is a nice number here, 1,212 sales, because that was a small enough target market that I could be effective. So like I probably wouldn't target Brampton, all of Brampton, because it's too big. Like I don't have the resources to talk to 10,000 people. Do you remember the analogy I gave everyone at the super conference? I said what many of us do is like you know, driving over the Atlantic Ocean and walking onto the sand and spitting in the Atlantic and driving back to the conference room, and we think somehow we change the ecology and the planet, when the truth is spitting in the ocean doesn't change anything. Well, if I'm you know, I'm new in the real estate business and I got a couple $1,000 and I apply it to a big marketplace like Brampton, I am truly spitting in the ocean. It's like not going to, you know, make an impact. So I want to shrink my target market so it makes sense in relationship to the resources I have Now, the other market, as you remember, that I worked was new market. So there's 1,863 sales. Look at this, average days in the market, 14.7. Here's what's really cool about the market here in Toronto, if you're not from here. Of the 1,863 homes that have sold in new market in the last 12 months, check this out, 994, let's call that 1,000 of the 1,863 have sold for 100% of the asking price or more. Okay, so over half the homes that have sold for asking price or more. That's a pretty good market, right? So we want to look at all that information when we consider target market. Now, we can break this down. So let's go to new market. And I might not even want to target all the new market when I start. I don't have the resources maybe to target all of the homes there. So we go add to search. And new market comes up. And now what I can do is I can now go and I can break it down by community. Okay, so here's all the different communities in new market. Okay, and I did this quickly at the super conference, but let's say that I want to target Stonehaven Estates. So I add this to my search. Okay, so that's going to be my target market, or I'm considering, you know, that might be a good target market. The other thing I want to look at is how many agents am I up against over there in Stonehaven? Because I'd rather not be up against a dominant agent. Well, let's see here. There's 409 sales, and the top agent sold 34. So the top agent, like, doesn't even have a 10% market share. So that might not be too bad. Okay. There's another agent that sold 17 homes. Another one sold 13. But look at that. Of the 409 sales, 340 agents sold one. Okay, and then there's one agent that sold 34. So what am I trying to say here? If there were two target markets that were kind of equal, but one of them had a really dominant agent, I might not want to compete with that dominant agent. I'd rather go to an area where there wasn't as much competition. So all things being equal, I'm going to pick the area where there's not the dominant agent. Okay, and see some other things that we can do here. We'll get into more of this, but let's just say I've got a listing appointment there tonight. I'm going to pull up some information that the other agents likely don't have. So that's what's happened to days on the market in new market. You can see in December, the average days on the market about 30, which is still good, and that's down to 7.5. So basically, it takes you a week on average to sell your home here. Okay, and then there's list to sales ratio. And isn't that incredible? Look at that. The average price of a home in my town is 106% of asking price. That's average. So some of them are selling for more than 106%.
And before you move off from that, I just want to let our members know, when we get into our buyer and listing presentation training, you're going to learn how to print these out and include those in your presentations.
Yeah, well, right there, you just hit the print button right there, or you can export them. So print or export. There's other, you know, cool things you can do. Like we can adjust the time frame. Maybe I want to go back 2 years. So this is what's happened with the list to sales ratio over the last 2 years. Look at this market is it's gone haywire here. You can change the color of the graph, any color you want. This is a medium-sized graph. I could make it large if I wanted to, which is great when you're meeting with buyers and sellers because you can bring this information right into the listing presentation, the buyer presentation. What I want to teach you with this is how to look really smart. And, you know, face it, that's what buyers and sellers want to work with, is somebody that appears to really be the expert. So you're bringing in something the other agents aren't bringing in. So anyway, there's all these graphs, average days in the market, list to sale. Well, how about a number of homes that are sold for 100% of asking price? Okay, way up there. Some of them have two things, price and units. Okay, so this graph shows the average price, and it shows the number of homes sold every month. Okay, so we'll spend some more time on this. Now, let's say I want to send postcards to Glenway Estates. I'm going to go to highest turnover streets if I want to do direct mail, and there we have it. Okay, here are the different streets, and here's the number of homes that have sold on those streets in descending order. Okay, so now you know what areas to pay attention to with your marketing. Okay, Andrea.
Yes.
We should probably take a few questions, and then I will go to this system and coaching site, and I'm going to take everybody on there and show them where to find all the ads. Or should I do that first? Maybe I'll do that first, and then we'll take questions.
While you're getting there, one thing I want to address too is everyone should be, if not already, very soon get an email from IMS regarding the reality program. It's going to include a link for you to register and start using this product. They also have training webinars like we do for the system. They have them on their own that are scheduled by IMS, and you'll be invited to those for some technical questions that you may have that I know Craig probably wouldn't be able to answer for you today.
And look, if our vendors that supply the technology haven't contacted you, you can pick up the phone and call them too. Keep in mind, we just got back from the conference, so of course everybody's calling them, and they're hustling as fast as they can, trying to get everyone set up. But got to say, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, so you can contact them. And on the system website, we give you the contact information for the website company, which is Success Website, the hotline company, which is AMS, and the MLS interface company, which is Reality.
Craig, when you go to the member site, we can show them all of that on the vendor section that we have just recently added. It's a really awesome page on the member site.
Okay, so we've got a few questions here. I'm looking on the chat here, Andrew, so let me just knock some of these off. So Tom Allen, you've answered his question. He wanted to know, how do we set it up? Tom, if you haven't heard from them, just contact them. David Westfall is asking, is there a way to refine a Reality to search for waterfront or lakefront? Maybe. I'm not an expert at how to use it, but they're going to do training, David, and they can show you how to do some amazing things I don't even know how to do with this thing. John Lowe says, is a target market of only 7,500 homes big enough? It'd be great if it was bigger, John. Remember, we're looking at sales here. So when I say, there are 2,000 homes, those are the homes that sold. That might mean there's 50,000 homes in the community. So 7,500 homes is not a very big target market, but it's a place to start. David wants to know, where do I find the logo for Your Home Sold Guaranteed, or I'll buy it? Okay, Success Website can get you that, David. Jeff Fairchild is asking, do I have to put my name and company name on my Facebook post, or does it show up when it's posted? Do I have to put my name and company name on my Facebook post? Well, when they click on it, it's going to go to a landing page that has your name and your company name on it. Randy Erb is asking, I work in an area of 55 plus retirement communities. We have no first-time buyers. Would you suggest aiming at move-up buyers? Or how about this, empty nesters? So Andrea, remind me when we go to the system site here. I'll show Randy a perfect ad for him to target people that maybe our kids are gone and they're wanting to retire and downsize and move into a retirement area. Jeff is saying, can I use the classified ads on Facebook? Yeah, Jeff, I'm going to show you here in a minute where the Facebook ads are on the site. Ariel says, once I get the leads, do they go automatically to my CRM? They can go right into your CRM, or they can go to your smartphone, or both. Devora is asking, when we submit an ad that looks like an editorial, what do we call it when we are calling the paper to advertise? You just say, I want to run an ad, but I want it to look like this. and it's got to look right. Now, they won't do it properly, by the way, the first time. You folks are going to be able to upload your ads on the coaching site. Is that starting this Friday, Andrea? This Friday they can upload their ads?
This Friday, yes.
Okay. So Andrea's going to show you in a minute here, or I'll show you how to upload your ads for the ad clinic, and then we'll look at them to make sure that the newspaper or your ads are working, are looking the way they should be looking. Let's see. Carmen says, I love the Sunday of tour homes idea. However, I seldom have more than 1 or 2 homes. Carmen, you don't need any listings. You can just borrow the listings from other agents in your office. That's what I did to get started. Okay, if you ask other realtors in your office, hey, would you mind if I open your property this weekend? They're going to love the extra exposure. And I don't think their clients are going to complain if you're bringing lots of buyers through. David Westfall again is asking, what about magazine ads like Homes and Land? Is it advisable to do the classified ads instead? Look, David, I really like local small papers. That's what I like, kind of a community publication that, you know, people read. I'm not saying their real estate book or Homes and Land won't work, but that wouldn't be the first place I would try. Okay, Mercedes Gomez, that sounds like an expensive name. Maria wants to know, is reality included in our coaching? Yes. All you have to do is contact them. Beth, hey Beth, I remember you from the conference. Beth is asking, what are your comments about markets that have a shortage of homes to choose from? Well, a lot of markets are like that right now, Beth. If you get the listings, you can pretty much take a listing agreement to the bank and cash it. So Beth says, harder to find homes or first-time buyers because investors are snapping them up. Yeah, I mean, they're out there, and that's why we have to make sure our buyers are signed to a buyer contract, getting the information, priority access. They're going to be Johnny on the spot. You want to educate them on that, right? Like, if you want to actually buy a home, you've got to be ready, offer typed up and ready to present as soon as they come on the market. Brent Young is asking, I don't want to compete again against a dominant agent because he was probably trained by Craig Proctor. Well, you know what? We're going to show you, Brent, how to be dominant. David is asking, is an and a side? Yes, so every transaction has 2 sides, a buyer side and a listing side. Carmen says, I did not something that I'm looking to offer the Sunday tour of homes, despite the fact that our listings at the moment are spread out. I did not. I'm not sure what she's asking. I did not add. I did not ask.
I think she's just commenting on our previous question that you had already addressed.
Okay. Yeah, well, if they're spread out, you know, the reason my homes are 15 minutes apart, Carmen, was because it took me 15 minutes to get from one part of town to the other part of town. But I get it, in a rural area, if it takes you an hour to get between houses, probably doesn't work that well. Okay, so look, there's lots more questions we'll go to. Andrew, you can help me monitor these, but look, here's how this works. The more we get into this, would you guys agree, the more questions we're going to have? That's how it works. So it's completely normal. So that's why the coaching happens on a regular basis, because the deeper we get into this, the more questions you're going to have. Okay, so let me show you a few things here. First of all, tomorrow we're going to do a role play, our first role play session, where you're going to be able to understand the universal callback script. Okay, you're going to understand how to use that universal callback script, and we're going to role play with you and explain how that works. That's at 11 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. And then Friday, you're going to have an opportunity to upload your ads. And we probably have a bunch to look at because we haven't done the ad clinic in a week or so. But this is the ad clinic here. You click on the ad clinic, and you can upload your ads right here. I'm going to move some things. I don't know if you can see what's on my screen here. But
we can see your full screen.
You can see the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
You can see all the questions?
Oh, so not that full. Not that full.
Okay.
Just
all right. So select my
desktop.
ads and upload right here. Okay. All right. Usually Andrea runs the webinar, so I'm kind of new at this, but I'm doing okay. Now, are they able to see the past ad clinics as well, Andrea?
I believe they are.
Okay. So let's just do this. So past ad clinics. So I could go to last week, and I could look at all the ads that were submitted. So every week, they stay up there. So this is the kind of thing that we're going to ask you guys to do, to upload your ads. And then it's great when you can put comments in as well. So you can see one response from a chatty old lady, okay? So there's a Facebook ad. And you're going to see the best of the best ads submitted here, and perhaps some ads that aren't so great, and we're going to critique them. So that was July the 1st. But you can go back. I think you guys have access to go back and see a bunch of them. But anyway, we're going to start this Friday, rather. You go to Ad Clinic right here, and then you upload your file there. Okay, so let's go to the ad generator. So go to Tools. Actually, before I do that, let me go to the dashboard here. Sorry. If we go to the dashboard, just as a quick reference, you can see first steps, buyer and seller objections, approved vendors. Some of you are asking, well, how do I contact these companies? So there's the contact information right there. For Success Website, they're the website company, the hotline company, Automated Marketing Solutions, and Reality, the MLS interface. So if they haven't contacted you, all you have to do is pick up the phone and call them at their toll-free number. Okay? So let's go to the dashboard again. And if you want, for quick reference, you can see examples of some things that are pretty helpful to you. You're going to see the ad generator, the certificate generator, the postcard generator, the online disc test. You're going to see Facebook ads, Google ads, postcards, editorial ads, classified ads, display ads, special reports, the follow-up script. So tomorrow, this is what we're going to focus on, is the follow-up script. And I'm going to recommend that between now and tomorrow, you want to download the script here, right here. You want to download it, and you want to print that off, and you want to stick that wherever it is you make your calls. Maybe print off 4 copies. Have one in the car, one at home, one at the office, one in your pocket all the time. Okay, presentation systems. So you want to download my buyer presentation or my listing presentation on PowerPoint. Okay, you can do it here, Microsoft or Mac right here. Okay, very easy. There's some fast start videos. These are sometimes helpful. James McDonald did a pretty good job of, here, let me mute him. Okay, so you might want to watch these if you've got some time this week. Setting up your hotline and website, selecting your target market, setting up your domain names, where to run your ads. So there's 11 steps here. If you're kind of confused about things, you can watch that. You know, it's really amazing, Andrea, how organized we actually are after 20 years, isn't it?
It really is. I'm so proud of how far we've come.
Okay. So anyway, enough patting ourselves on the back. Oh, Mastermind newsletter. We talked about, okay, this is my newsletter every month. We send that to you. This is a member newsletter, but you can download the back issues. So every month I write you guys a newsletter, and we talk about what's working for members all over the country. Okay, now we're going to go look at some Facebook ads because we're back to our topic, which is selecting my target market and my medium. So one of the things I recommended is if you need to make some money right now, it would be great to run some Facebook ads that target first-time home buyers. So let's have a look at some of those. Okay, so GT Homes and Condos, free list of great deals just listed. These properties must be sold. Oops, what did I just do? Did I shut us down? Oh, did I really do that? Okay. Sorry, guys. Got to go back in again. Just after I said how organized I was, too. Okay, so here we are. Back on Facebook. Let's have a look at another ad here. Okay, buy a home with $2,000 or less. Okay, so obviously they're targeting first-time buyers here. Elk Grove Homes with $2,000 down payment. These are just ideas for you. Miami luxury foreclosure hot list. Okay, that should have been moved down, Andrea.
Yes, I was working with Adrian, and unfortunately I ran out of time to get everything removed or moved around, I should say. It'll be fixed.
This is what I get for saying we're so organized, and then all of a sudden now we're not organized. Okay, so obviously that ad that we just looked at, Miami luxury homes, was supposed to be here under move-up buyers. Andrea and I, we did go through this yesterday, but there's going to be a couple of them that are messed up. That was one of them. But let's look at a few more. Okay, so Monroe County homes with acreage. Okay, they were targeting first-time buyers. You can see the results that they have. These will stay on the site, so we don't need to spend a lot of time on these. You guys can look at these anytime. Direct from the bank foreclosures. Just listed first-time, here's the one I'm looking for, first-time buyer home deals in Wellington. Get instant access to new listings in real time. You can own a home in Wellington for $0 down, get instant access to a free list of eligible homes with pictures and addresses and prices. That's a good one there, Andrea.
And while we're looking at those, we do have several webinars that our coaches have done on loading and doing Facebook marketing. So if this seems a little overwhelming at first, like you wouldn't even know where to get started on Facebook, we do have training sessions to cover that. Yep,
we'll show you how to do this. But this is just to give you an overall idea as to what you should be doing to target whatever group you're after. So let's say that my target market is not first-time buyers, it's move-up buyers. So here's a nice 4,200 square foot home. Okay, I tell you, I like this one better. Here's why. Planning on moving to a larger home. Free list with pictures of the 10 best buys in new market. Landscape lot, finished basement, swimming pools. What I don't like about this one is we're promoting a single house. So what our members should have done here is say, like this is house number 3 out of 12 homes for sale in the area, because it's very difficult to eliminate 12 properties. Okay, here's another one here. New list just released, a must-sell luxury homes in Katy. Get a free list of luxury distress sale homes in Katy, including hard to find foreclosures and short sales. Free list with lots of pictures and details. No investors, please. They didn't want investors. And then you'll notice the landing page must dance with the ad. So when the prospect clicks on the ad here, they go to a landing page where it makes sense, where they go, oh, I'm in the right place, because that's what the ad said. I could get a list of all these brand new luxury distress sales in Katy. Now, if you want to target sellers, actually, before I go to sellers, let me go to buyer list, because I think we've got some good examples. Okay, so here's a list of Elk Grove homes with pools, swimming pools. So you can get a list of all the homes in Elk Grove with swimming pools and whatever price range. Okay, this is from member George Lorimer. He's in San Diego. San Diego, low down payment. Buy a home in San Diego with $2,000 down. Okay, so Andrea, that one needs to go up with the first-time buyer ones.
Yes, I have that on my list. Also, it's another one that we didn't get in time.
Okay, here's one from Florida. Free hot list of Bradenton homes for sale. You guys know where Bradenton is, right? It's north of Sarasota. Get priority access to just listed homes from $250. Okay, free list of Bradenton homes for sale. You can put in any price range you want. All right, then we want to target sellers. So here's some campaigns for sellers. Find Quinty home prices by address, 100% free. Find the value of your York home for free. And I like the map with all the little things on here. That's pretty cool. Stouffville, that's over by me. Find out what your Stouffville home is really worth. Free, quick online home evaluation. Go to StouffvilleHomePrices.com. And Orange County Real Estate Report. Find out what your home is worth online. Click here for a free, quick home evaluation. Okay, so that gives us some examples of some Facebook ads.
Now we're getting some questions about where do the pictures come from. And I know Rick Brash.
Success website can help you guys.
Yes, thank you.
Right, the maps. How do we do that again with the maps at the pins, Andrew? Do you remember?
Well, all you have to do is go to Google Maps online and just drop a pin. Just find your area. Most people enter their zip codes or their area codes, and then just drop pins and then save it as a PDF or anything or a screenshot. And Google Images, I know a lot of our members use Google Images that are not copyrighted, or they buy stock photos.
Yeah, be careful you don't grab one of those Getty images because those guys will come after you. All right, so here's some Google pay-per-click ads. So here's one of our members here, Sarnia Foreclosures. Here's another one here. There's two of them, Richmond Hill Condo Deals, instant access to condo deals, Richmond Hill Foreclosures. Pasadena Distress Sales. Montreal Foreclosures. It's in English too, that one. Ottawa Foreclosures, free list of foreclosures, fixer-uppers, and estate sales. Bellevue, that's in Washington, new homes. Anyway, we don't need to go through all these today. Oh, I'm going to show you guys something else that's pretty cool. Do you remember I showed you my #1 most successful postcard? Well, here's a whole bunch of them here. A whole bunch of different postcards. But if we want to go to the postcard generator, how do I do that? Do I go under Tools, Postcard Generator? There we go. All right, watch how easy it is. So if you want to have a postcard just like mine to target sellers, I took my very best postcard and I made it easy for you folks to copy. Okay, so there's the generator, and all you have to do is type in your information, what size postcard you want, the quantity that you want, and you can send the order right to BXL Printers. That's our printer, and they'll print them up and send them to you, and they'll be perfect for you. How easy is that? And speaking of generators, let's go to our ad generator, and let's talk about who you want to target now. So, I'm show everyone how to do that again in slow motion. You go to Tools, you click on Ad Generator, and what you're going to see is you've got 3 choices. Okay, you can run classified ads, editorial ads, or USP ads. So, let's say that, well, we'll start with classified ads. It's going to ask you whether you want to target buyers or sellers. Well, let's say you want to target buyers. Here are all the campaigns that you're licensed to use as a system member. All right, so you should be like a kid in a candy store. Look at all the campaigns. So let's say you want to run the Fixer Upper campaign. You click that, boom, the ad comes up. Now, you want to use only a domain name or only a hotline, or as I recommend, you want to have both. Okay, so what's your domain name going to be? Well, you folks might not know this, but Andrea lives in Austin, Texas. So Andrea's domain name might be Austin. See, I got big fingers here. Fixer. Just hang on here a second. I think I can type. How about that? AustinFixerUppers.com. And Andrea, they're going to give you folks your own 800 series number, but let's just say it's 1234. And the campaign is already recorded for you in this message mailbox, 1048. It's recorded by the same person, same voice as mine, so your buyers will hear exactly what my buyers would hear, recorded in the same voice. Okay, now fixer-upper homes. Okay, well, I don't know, maybe these are condos. How cool is that? Now, by law, you have to have your identification, right? So my identification would be my name, okay, my designation, sales rep, okay, my company, whatever it is, Remax. And there it is. The ad is ready to rock and roll. You are ready to go. The ad is a perfect replica of mine. Go ahead. If you're impressed, you can put comments in there. We spent a long time on this. So all the now, not only are all the ads there, let's go back to fixer-uppers. So some of the campaigns offer a free special report. So let's have a look at this one here. 6 buyer mistakes. Home buyers, 6 costly mistakes to avoid before buying a home. Okay, and we're offering a free report reveals how to save thousands of dollars. You might be saying, well, where do I get this free report? Well, you download the free report right here. Generic report, already done for you. All you have to do is send the thing out. It's that easy. Oh, did I do this again? I'm bad. Okay. Let me go back in. You got to be careful you don't take yourself out. Okay, so we're going to go back. This is good because I can show everybody how to go back into the ad generator again. See? Okay. Those are classified ads. Okay, I clicked on buyers. And now you might be wondering, well, what landing page does this go to? Okay, 6 mistakes. Okay, it goes to that landing page. So everything is organized. You're going to know, you can click on the ad, customize it for you. Okay, you can, if it offers a report, you can print out the report. Okay, or copy the report and email it out. The hotline script is there. You just click on that. If you should desire to record your own hotline script, they're there, but you don't need to do it because the hotlines, the scripts are already recorded professionally by us for you. Okay, so that was classified ads. You folks want to play around with this, by the way, so you really get the hang of how this works. Let's go back into the ad generator this time, and let's look at editorial style ads. But this time I want to target sellers. So here's all the different editorial ads that come up. And let's say that I want to click on this one here. Which of these costly homes are mistakes we make when you sell your new market home? Well, you're not a new market, right? So we're going to change this to say Orlando. How cool is that? And see where it says new market, like a real editorial ad would say new market. You're going to change that to wherever you're from. We'll just say Orlando. Okay, you're going to type in your domain name. And you're going to type in your disclaimer here.
Now, Craig, just briefly on an editorial, would you suggest the domain name or just the hotline?
I really do just like the hotline. I'll tell you why. When there's a domain name, they think when they go to the website that they're going to be able to read the report, but nobody would think that they're going to be able to read the report if they call the 800 number. So I prefer with these editorial ads just to offer the 800 number, and I'll show everybody how you do that. You just go here, and we go hotline only. Boom. So I did that. We want both. It adds both. We want just a hotline, just a hotline. You're going to enter your 800 number. Now you can also change the headline. I've got a couple different headlines you can test here. So maybe you don't like that headline. Maybe you like this headline, 7 deadly mistakes that will cost you thousands of dollars when you sell your new market home. Okay, so again, when you go there, go back, you can download the special report. You know, what would the landing page look like? There it is. Yours is going to look like that. You could customize it. I could have this say, which of these costly homes are mistakes we make when you sell your new market home? I can do that. Okay, now let's go to the third category here.
And just quickly before you go off from editorials, one thing about our editorials is you need to make sure it matches, as discussed before, the font, the column width.
You want it to look like a news article would look in your paper. You'll probably mess it up the first couple times. We'll help you guys on the ad clinic. We'll show you how to do this. Okay, so let's go back because I want to go to questions here shortly, so we're running out of time. So we're going to go back to the ad generator, and finally we're going to look at USP ads. Okay, let's say I want to target sellers. I want some listings. Here are all the different USPs I have. So I could say I guarantee to sell your home in, I don't know, I'm in a pretty good market here, so how about 7 days, or I'll pay you $1,000 cash. Now, if that sounds like not enough, maybe you sell multi-million-dollar homes, it could be $2,000. If $2,000 sounds too much, it could be just $500. Okay, and same thing, you're going to add your phone number, your everything here you can customize. Okay, you can customize everything. Let's look at a few more. How about this one here? Your home sold for 100% of asking price guaranteed, or I'll pay the difference. Okay, so you're going to type in your name, whatever, and your 800 number. Okay, everybody get the hang of it? And you can, oh, by the way, there's rules to these. So with there's rules to all these. So let's go back to this one here. Okay, your home sold in 120 days. How do we make sure there's no misunderstandings? We're going to print off the certificate, and we can customize this, and the seller is going to sign off on this. So there's no misunderstandings of how this thing works. So I want to change this certificate from 120 days to 7 days. And I don't want to give up $1,000. I only want to give up $500. Okay, I've got built-in price reductions. Okay, a price of, I can fill that in. Okay, so it's pretty easy to get this right. Okay, so let's do this. We've got about 7 or 8 minutes left. Let's take some more questions. Do we have any audio questions at this point, Andrea?
We do. We have several hands raised. We can go to Deborah Cohen first. Okay. Deborah, your line is open with us.
Hi, you hear me?
Hi, Deborah. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm like on a big high from this. I'm very excited. Thanks for taking my call. My question is, how do we start? We've been doing door knocking in a certain area. Do we forget about that and then just start with a city, a zip code? How do we do this reality part? That's what we're up to.
Okay, well, look, whatever you guys are doing right now, if it's working for you, I don't want you to stop cold turkey. Like, I don't want you to, you know, if you're door knocking or cold calling or whatever you're doing, handing out business cards at your kid's soccer game, let's just slowly get into this. Don't stop doing whatever you're doing now. But as you're learning, it's going to be up to me to prove that my way is better than what you're doing, and you're going to want to spend your time doing it this way. Okay, but
Right.
Rome wasn't built in a day. So here's what's very normal. I want everyone just to take a deep breath. If you're feeling kind of overwhelmed and there's a lot to learn, that's normal. I've been doing this for 20 years. So nobody comes into this like knowing it all. It'll take some time, but you guys will be amazed at how far you come along here in a couple months.
Right. No, my question really is when you go to the reality thing, I know you were going to Newmarket. So I'm in a Miami-Dade, but we've been working in Broward. Do we pick a city and see the statistics? Do we pick a zip code? How do we start researching?
Well, you can do both,
because,
right? So you can take a Miami and it'll break it down to the smaller cities within Miami, but you can also do it by zip code as well.
Okay.
What I would do is, grab yourself a cup of coffee, sit down with this reality program when they get you set up, and just spend some time. What most of our students report is, wow, there's a lot of things I didn't know. I've heard that from real estate agents that have, lived in a place their whole life. They've been in real estate for 15 or 20 years, and they realize there's opportunities they weren't aware of, or that they were doing things that weren't so productive. Let me I'll give you a quick example. I was doing a consultation, and we had a member from Florida who was targeting the luxury condos. Okay, and she just decided, well, that's what I want to do. But when we did the research, we determined even if she sold them all, she had 100% market share in those condo buildings, there wouldn't be enough for her to make a good living. So that would have been a really terrible target market.
Correct. I understand. But it's not a 1 minute thing. This is going to take a couple days maybe of research to figure it out. Well, I don't know if it'll take a couple days, but and you're always going to learn. You're always going to be looking at it because the market changes too, right? So what might be true today might not be true in 6 months. Got it. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for being part of the program. Let's see who's next.
Our next question comes from Ralph Sam. You're live with us.
Hey, Craig. How you doing?
Good afternoon.
I don't know if you remember, we spoke briefly. I do Florida Keys, and I like to know how to target the second home vacation buyer.
Okay, very good question. Okay, because a lot of people in Florida, and when we do our seminars in Phoenix, a lot of the buyers are coming from out of state. So here's one of the things that I would do. I would call some agents that have sold some properties in the target market you're interested in, and I would just ask them where the buyers are coming from. Okay, so let's say that you found out that most of the buyers were coming, not 100% of them are going to come from any one place, but there was a high concentration of buyers from a certain state. Okay, maybe Minnesota, let's say, or Michigan. Or it might be Canada, right? You can now start advertising with Google or in some of the print publications in those areas to attract the buyers.
What type of an ad would you run for that?
Well, if what part of Florida are you in? You're in the Keys?
In the Keys, yeah.
Okay. So Florida Keys, great deals, including luxury distress sales. Fixer-uppers, free hot list of properties available.
That's the thing. We've run out of distress sales, and we're running out of fixer-uppers.
Of course you have. Now let me show you how to handle that. So let's pretend that that I ran that ad, and you're the prospect that's called. Really, what the ad is saying is good deals, right? So I'm not just saying it's only bank foreclosures, fixer-uppers, distress sales. Now, a distress sale could be anything. It could be a vacant property, right? It could be a home that's recently reduced. It could be some guy that's been transferred across the country. But let's say that you're the prospect, and I follow up with you, and I say, hey, it's Craig Proctor with ABC Realty, and the reason I'm calling is in response to your request for the fixer-uppers and distress sale properties. And at the present moment, we don't have any bank foreclosures that are on the market right now, but would you be interested in other properties that aren't bank foreclosures that do represent a good deal?
Okay.
what do you think the buyer would say?
Sure.
Right, the buyer would say, yeah, I'm interested in anything that's a good deal. Now, even in a real hot market, we could even say that a home that sells for 100% of market value is a good deal, because it might be, right?
Yeah.
Remember, let's remember the purpose of the ads that we run is to get buyers to call us.
Right.
Okay. Now, I know some of you might think, well, isn't that kind of a bait and switch? You know, like I'm advertising distress sales and I'm pretty confident I don't have any. I could argue this, right? When you advertise one of your homes for sale, we know it's true that 99% of the buyers that call you are never going to buy that house, right?
That's correct.
So we could accuse every real estate agent in the country of bait and switch. Because every time a real estate agent runs an ad, 99% of the time the buyer doesn't buy that property, and the real estate agent switches the buyer onto properties that they are interested in. So all I'm saying is we just have better ads in this program to get more buyers to call us. That's the job of the ad. The only job of the ad is to get motivated buyers to raise their hand. So don't get too caught up in, well, I don't know if I have a bank foreclosure around. Even if you did, even if you had 20 bank foreclosures, the chances of them buying one wouldn't be good anyway.
That's true. The thing is that we're very limited as far as what's available right now.
Okay, so let's switch strategies. If you're saying it's a strong buyer's market, and you're saying it's very difficult to get the buyer a property, right? So why don't we just get the listings then?
True.
Right?
But then again, how do I get the listings? Because a lot of them are out of towners.
Well, look, we're going to have to work on that. Out of town people still get their mail.
That's true.
Okay, I have a second house in Sarasota. Real estate agents still get a hold of me. I have a mailbox, and the mail's forwarded to me up here in Canada.
Right.
All right, so we'll figure it out.
Can I interest you something in Key Largo?
Yeah, that's a good sales guy. I like that. Okay, well, thanks a lot. Let's see who's next.
And right before we end, it is the 90-minute mark, and before we go on is what I should have said. I just want to remind everybody we have our role play session tomorrow. It's going to be your first session with Craig and James. It's going to be 11 o'clock Eastern time. So you have all been registered by myself and our team for that session. So just check your email for your log on, and you can just join from there. So
yep, and that's going to be a great webinar. We're going to introduce you to that whole script, how it works, how to exactly what to do and say when you follow with prospects, how to handle the most common objections. Really, we're talking to you tomorrow about the idea behind it. All right, now I understand if some of you have to go. I mean, we try to limit these to 90 minutes, but I will stay on here for a few more minutes if there's some more questions. But for those of you that have to sign off, I understand, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. But let's take a couple more questions.
A couple of our members haven't had a chance to talk with their coach yet and maybe won't get to for the next week or so. What do you suggest they do? Say, give them homework for what they should do until they speak to their coach or have another training session with us.
Well, I'll tell you exactly what you should do is you should go on to the coaching system site here, and you should familiarize yourself with all of the tools that are at your disposal. You see, many of the questions that you have can be answered by just spending some time on the coaching site. Okay, we have amazing resources. We have like 2 decades worth of material here. We have I'm not going to say we've perfected it because it's never perfected, but it's pretty good. I think you guys will be impressed if you spend some time on the resource site. So that would be your homework between now and your first consultation.
We are always updating, and it's not like this information we just put it on there and leave it and it's out of date. We are constantly going on and revising how we provide you with resources and make sure they're all current.
Correct.
Okay, let's see. We have lots of stuff coming in. Some of these questions we've already answered, so I don't want to go over too many things.
Yeah, if there's duplicates, try to find some questions we haven't covered.
Okay, let's go ahead. We do have more hands raised, and I love audio questions. They're my favorite. We'll go with Paul Vacco. Your line is open.
Okay.
Hi, my question is about the landing page. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi, Paul.
Okay, how you doing? when the customer goes to the landing page and they put their information in, on the reports, it's automatically generated with reports about whatever they're asking. But if they're asking about specific homes for sale in ABC community, that would be a service page. Am I correct? And also, would I generate that service page myself by going into the MLS and sending that from my MLS?
Yeah, well, the first thing you're going to want to do is call them. Hey, Paul, Craig Proctor here with ABC Realty. Look, I just received your request for the luxury homes in our market. Wanted to let you know that I'm about to send that information out to you, but I wondered if you folks were planning on making a move in the next little while.
Okay, so you don't even send it to them, you just call them.
Well, what if they say, well, I'm calling from my sister in Cleveland? Well,
Okay.
could I have your sister's contact information in Cleveland so I can discuss exactly what she's looking for? Like you want to do a thorough job. How about this? Would having a conversation with the prospect before you send the information be a good idea?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Probably, right? You could do, and you know what's even a better idea is where I'm going to go on this phone call is, so Paul, so I'm going to ask some qualifying questions. You know, are you going to be staying local, moving out of the area? Do you own or do you rent? Do you have a real estate agent to help you in the time is right now? If I like the way you answer all these questions, it sounds like your timing is now, you're motivated, you don't have an agent. I'm going to say this. Now, Paul, I could email you every day all the hot new listings that match your criteria. My list includes any bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, distress sales. It's absolutely free of charge and never obligated to do anything. Do you think that might interest you?
Yes.
When would be a good time, Paul, for you and I to get together so we can take down exactly what you're looking for?
What if they just say, well, can you just send me the information I requested? What I was really wondering about...
Well, hang on. First of all, they all say that, by the way. So that's what we're going to teach you tomorrow. So they all say, or most of them will say, well, like, why do we need to meet? I can tell you right what I'm looking for over the phone, or I could email to you. So watch this. Paul, you know what? I really want to do a good job for you. Rather than me emailing you hundreds of homes which may or may not match your criteria, or even worse, you missing out on the perfect one, you know, if we could get together for about 15 or 20 minutes, I could get that same great understanding that you have as to exactly what you're looking for, and that way we'd only send you homes that are a perfect match. When do you think would be a good time for us to meet, days or evenings?
I understand that. But what I was wondering is does the system send that auto-generated information from my MLS? Is it connected, or is that something I have to go in and do myself?
They have a service that you can buy that can do that, but most of our members just go on there and send the information out themselves.
Okay.
Or if you have an assistant, like my assistant would have done that for me.
Okay. It's basically just doing a search for whatever the topic was on the ad and sending over the information via the MLS that you currently use.
Right. So here's how easy it is. So my ad said Glenaway Estates, beautiful golf course homes between this price range and that price range. So they're either calling into your hotline, okay, or they're going to your landing page. If they're calling to your hotline, hi Craig, this is Joe. I'm looking in Glenaway. I'm looking between $750,000 and $1 million. I want 4 bedrooms with a pool and a double-car garage. Okay, great. And then he leaves his contact information. So my assistant types that in, $750,000 to $1 million. This MLS district, guy wants a pool, double-car garage, 4 bedrooms. Boom, 4 houses come up, and we send it out to the guy.
Okay.
Now my assistant, sometimes she'd beat me to it, and she would send the information first. So I just have to change the script to this. Hey, Paul, Craig Proctor with ABC Realty. Just wanted to let you know I just sent you out the information you requested on the homes in Glenaway Estates, and the reason I was calling you, just go through the script that way.
Okay, yeah. See, I just want to differentiate reports and service page, because if reports will go out to them automatically, but then I learned that the service page is something we send.
Well, some of our members, you can shut that off, by the way, on the Success website. Some of our members prefer for them not to get immediate access to the reports. They'd prefer to email or mail them out. So you have all these choices.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
All right, good question. Let's see who's next.
And I wanted to say too quickly, Craig, if you could go to the recorded webinars library, a lot of the questions I'm reading we covered on session 1 on Friday, and I just want to make sure all of our members know how to go and re-watch that training session.
Okay. So webinars right here?
No, go to libraries.
Libraries.
Webinar library.
Okay. So if this is a good point here Andrea is making, if you miss any of our webinars, which you will, I mean, like ultimately you're not going to make every single webinar, although we want you to. You can, they're all recorded, and you can just go in here and watch them. Okay,
and Craig is logged in as a Platinum member. I just want to preference that. You may see some things here that you may not have access to as a new coaching system member.
Correct. So which, the orientation webinar? Is that
the orientation webinar, yes, that's a very important webinar with James we did. And then the Craig Proctor System Training, your primary and strategic aim, the starting point. We really go over a lot of questions today are, what about my URL? How do I come up with it? What should it say? How does it match the ad? We discuss that all in detail with James and Craig on Friday.
Well, look, it was a long weekend, so, you know, we'll let you guys off the hook.
That's right.
It was a long weekend. So you guys can play catch up though. You can watch the orientation webinar that was on June 30th. So that was Thursday, last Thursday, and then last Friday, July 1st, was session number 1, and we're on session number 2 right now. Okay, let's take one more question and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay, hold on just one second. I had lost the question I was on. Okay, Carmen. And if you've addressed this, Craig, let me know. I'm looking at an area which is a potential as a target in reality. Would you be able to show again how you found out how many houses were sold per agent?
Okay. So let me do that again. Here, we'll just go over to, let me see if I still have reality up here. Go here. That's not what I want. 1 second. Reality. Log in. Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
And I picked the hardest question. I'm so sorry,
Yeah,
Craig.
Thanks a lot, Andrea.
I know. I thought, oh no. What
Okay, hang on, no problem. Okay, so we're back in, right? No, wrong password. All right, bear with me. I know we can do this. Ta-da. Okay. No. Okay. I know what I'm doing wrong here. Just bear with me. Sorry. Are there any other questions while we're waiting?
I was reading. I was trying to decide if I wanted to go ahead and ask more questions. Okay, I answered this for several members, but I'm getting at some more. Who connects the URLs and the landing pages? And that is Success. They will help you do that.
Correct.
So a lot of members are asking that. We will be having a Monday Internet Helpline session with Steve and Christy, and I believe that is still scheduled for this upcoming Monday, the 11th, and you'll be able to answer all of those questions direct with Steve and then his awesome, I forgot the special name she has, but she is one of the best people.
Director of Customer Happiness.
Thank you. That is the best
Yes.
job title ever. Director of Customer Happiness, and she will be on with us and going over all of this.
Okay, so the question was, how do I know all the agents in the area and where they hang their hats? So,
how many homes were sold per agent?
Okay. Well, hey, you know what? I'm going to do something really cool here. Let's go back to let's look at okay. We'll look at all of Aurora here. Okay. We add to search, and then we go performance by agents. Okay, so in the town of Aurora, there were 1,415 houses that sold, and one agent, the top agent, sold 44. The next agent sold 33, and you can see 1,055 agents sold one house each. So that's how you do it right there. by agent performance. You can do it by combine ends, or you can do it by dollar value. Pretty impressive. Okay, folks, we better end this. I hope you enjoyed our second coaching session, and hope you can be with us tomorrow at 11 a.m. for the role play session, and then our first ad marketing clinic on Friday morning. So Andrea, thanks for doing a great job here today, and that wraps it up. That's the end of session 2. Take care and go sell some houses.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a wonderful afternoon. This officially ends the webinar for today.